Hello, thank you for coming. I appreciate you guys coming today and spending time with us. My name is Alan Science. I own two businesses, Los Alamos Network, that we provide internet through fiber optics and wireless. And also, I've been doing Sala for 2 years. Got involved with this group of the coalition. So um, a group of people that wants a lot of positive things for Los Alamos. We did a survey, and with that survey, we kind of created this series of 5 forums, which we hope at the end of by June that we can come to the table, work together, and start finding solutions for what I think it is a problem that Los Alamos it is uh, saying that they want more local businesses. So, that is the forum. It is right now a way to see and understand who are the key players in the local business community, just to understand what is that, some of the challenges, limitations, maybe some possible solutions. So thank you for coming, Kevin. And thank you guys for coming. I appreciate it.
Hi, I'm Kevin Holsapple. I have a business in town called Highline Associates, which is a travel and travel writing business. And I'm one of the steering team members for the coalition. My job is to just tell you a little bit about the coalition. We came together in November, and it was really a kind of lots of people are looking at the results of these national community survey results that the Los Alamos County has done. And for the last two running, 77% of the public has basically said trying to enhance the local business environment is one of the most important priorities that they're looking for action and looking for improvement in the community. And we all totally buy into that. But also at the same time think that it's really important to try to bring attention to the issues and try to provide some help from the business side of things, sorting out what the priorities are amongst all of those issues and things that can be done. This is our mission statement. We now have about 70 members of the coalition. The membership criteria is buy-in to this mission and interest in staying informed and being involved, engaged when asked to participate and provide opinions and such. We've done several things since November, since coming together. One was we right away tried and it did introduce ourselves to the county and LACDC and others, and work to help them understand what we're about and what we're trying to accomplish. We got involved in advocacy opposing the commercial property purchase over on Diamond Drive. We did a business forum in December, the first forum that's kind of provided the pattern for this. We did a survey to prioritize issues and inputs when there was a call for input to the county's drafting of an MRA plan, Metropolitan Redevelopment Area Plan. And then we used the results of that to provide input and advocacy on what we hope will show up in that draft plan. And we've also generated an idea for assessing and identifying ways to improve processes and improve the local and business environment. And that's something we're under discussion with county council liaisons to the business community. And then, as Alan mentioned, we have this set of forums that have been planned and will be going on one a month, and this is the first of those. Wanted to highlight a few things from the survey that we did. One key finding in one area is that there's an interest in really equal attention to all business and commercial areas in the community. It's there's lots of different districts and things that really look at particular problems in different parts of the commercial areas. But when we asked people where should the priorities be, it was a very strong that really it needs to be across the board, and good projects are good projects regardless of where they land between all these different areas. Second thing we asked is for prioritization. There had been some prior surveys asking about what the issues were, but they didn't really give much of any idea of what the priorities should be between those issues. So we asked that very directly. And the top few things you see that really came back is retention of our existing local businesses, retail, dining, treat, entertainment space. So space that is affordable and suitable for those kind of businesses, and affordable workforce housing. And I think what's meant by that is housing that goes to people who are at the pay levels that local businesses are able to pay, entry level and early career kinds of workers. A third key finding is really spoke to attributes of development. So if there's going to be support for development, that the desire is for these kind of attributes to really be part of those projects. Again, retention of existing local business, affordability, particularly retail space. And there's a real interest in, can there be facilitation of owner occupied business space to give business owners an opportunity to own their own space. And then we asked about a variety of tools. In the MRA call, there was a list of things that were said, hey, these are tools that could be employed in the MRAs. So we asked the more general question, how would you, what would be the priorities between these tools, regardless of where they are put to use in commercial properties? Expedited permitting, public-private partnerships, and improvement grants were the top priorities that came back. So there was lots of comments in all this. So this is a very high-level summary. If you were to go to the coalition website, you can see the survey results in detail with all of the comments and everything else. A few just kind of typical themes that came back by in the comments. And that's what I have. And so a little later on, there's going to be some Q&A. So if you have questions about the coalition, please let us know. Thanks. Alan's going to get a short video running. One of the things we're doing for these forums, and if we're inviting any local business who's interested in doing this to step forward, we're going to do just some short features of business owners. Who are they talking about? What might be a success story, what might be a challenge they're facing, and we hope you'll learn a little bit more about a local business or two each time and their owners. And this first one is Village Arts. They're over on DP Road. Hopefully many of you know Ken Nebel, who is the owner, and Ken recorded this will be like a 3-minute blurb on what he wanted to talk about.
Hi, this is Ken Nebel from Village Arts. I was invited to be with you this evening to talk a little bit about our business and to tell you a little bit about some of the challenges that we face and the pleasures of being a business owner in Los Alamos County. I'm not able to be with you in person, so I made a quick recording. I thought I'd start out by telling a little bit about our business. It's a custom framing and art supply retail venue, and we make space for the community to explore visual creativity and conservation from concept to completion. We also provide exhibit opportunities, other art opportunities, including a graffiti wall and weekly arts groups, and we host internships as well. I'm really proud of the longevity of Village Arts, our team, and the community we've built. I've had the opportunity to work at Village Arts for over 20 years now and owned it for the last 16 years. And I can tell you it's a passion, a pleasure, and often a whole lot of work. There are always challenges to balance as a business owner, and right now, Village Art's biggest challenge is the road construction that's directly in front of the store, which is slated to begin again in about a month. Construction costs meant a shortfall of about $35,000 for us last year, and we expect this year to be more invasive. Planning for this already has personally cost me upwards of 20 years on my home mortgage, and I just say that to put it into a little bit of perspective. Specifically regarding just this challenge, we continue to rely on the county to plan realistic and least invasive projects that take into account all the other projects that are going on in the county at the same time. We rely on the county to mediate between businesses and the county's contractors to minimize those construction disruptions. We rely on the county to hold contractors to their agreed schedules. And specifically, we've relied on the county to not require businesses to hook up to the planned sewage system, which would cost Village Arts an additional $15,000 or so, and not at a good time for us. At the same time, we rely on LACDC to help us stay visible, to train their staff and volunteers in how to reach us and why visitors to town might want to stop in, to help us work jointly with other local businesses, and to create community building opportunities that minimize cost in time and capital to the businesses. Thanks.
Hey, everybody. So as Kevin said, my name is Leslie Linke. I do not have a business here, but I was born and raised in Los Alamos, so I'm very passionate about our businesses and services and things that are available to the community up here. So I'm on the steering committee for that. One thing that I wanted to point out on our mission statement is the word collaborate. The goal of the coalition is to collaborate with county, with the chamber and the CDC, all of these other organizations for the betterment of the community. So I just wanted to point that out. So at this point, I'm going to introduce our three ladies here. They are here to tell us a little bit about how their organization supports businesses in Los Alamos. We're going to give each 5 to 8 minutes of time to talk. We have sent them a list of questions that we have that we'd like them to address. And I believe what we're going to do is after all three of the ladies have spoken, we will open it up for questions. Okay. So the first person we're going to talk to is the Small Business Development Center, Janice Krish.
Thank you, Business Coalition, for hosting this event, and thank you for everyone who's attending. I think it's really important to have these forums to be able to open up the conversations of our business community and really start understanding what the business community needs are and what we can do to serve the business community. So I'm Janice Krish. I'm the director of the Small Business Development Center of Los Alamos. The center is located at UNM LA on the campus there. And I've been in this role for about 4 months now. And the SBDC is funded by the SBA, the Small Business Administration, which is a federal grant program. And it's also primarily funded by the New Mexico State Legislature. So we receive funding that way. And the SBDC is a nonprofit organization. And there are about 20 centers located around the state. So Los Alamos is very fortunate to have a center here. And what we do is we primarily provide business development and business counseling services. And all of these services are free and confidential. And you can have as many counseling sessions as you need for your business. There's no limitations on it. So it's a gem to have this service here. And I'm happy to be in this role because you can really dig deep with the businesses and find out what they need and where they want to start and what their dreams are. So people walk in the door and that's what they're coming in. They have a dream and they have something they want to provide, a service or a product they want to provide to the community, and they're passionate about it. So what they do is essentially the process is they register on our site. It's nmsbdc.org. And when a client comes in, they basically we go over the storybook of who we are and what we do, the details in the background. And no matter where you are in the business journey, whether you're just starting or it's just an idea, or if you're growing the business, we're here because you need to plan your idea, manage your idea, launch your idea, and then grow your idea. So all phases of the business journey we're here for. And you need a plan. So most of the time clients are coming in and they really need hand-holding. They need guidance and hand-holding on the process and the procedure. In fact, I had a client today who came in and was asking and basically said that I need guidance on how to register a business, the taxes, the financials, and how to manage that. In fact, she's so concerned about it that she said it was a barrier for her to even start. So that's what we're here for. The SBDC provides that kind of nuts and bolts services to how do you form your business, what's your business formation, how do you register with the state, how do you register federal, and how do you register on the county level. So I'm able to walk them through those processes and just make it easier. So it's really, I'm a big fan of step-by-step, make it easy. And that's what they need. They are very confused walking in, and this isn't unique to our community or anything. This is really just government and bureaucracy and paperwork that needs to be done. So we get through that. There's a lot of startup assistance that we provide. And then from there, it goes from anything from how to write a business plan, what's your blueprint, what's your roadmap for your business, and let's get those ideas sorted out, your marketing plan, all the financials that are involved, your P&L, your balance sheet, understanding what these financials mean and how to provide guidance for that or how to provide training for that. So there's trainings that the SBDC also provides, whether it be online workshops or webinars that are pre-recorded. We work with other partners who also help with that, which is SCORE. SCORE's a mentor program. They're based out of Santa Fe, but they serve northern New Mexico. So we connect them with SCORE trainings and mentors. There's also WEST, which is the Women's Entrepreneur Center. That's also located in Santa Fe, but they serve our community. And they provide trainings and assistance to women-owned businesses and minority-owned businesses primarily, although they serve everybody. They also provide microloans and grants. So all of this is part of a business journey, though. This is about teaching somebody to become an effective entrepreneur so that they're not confused anymore and they're able to have the tools that they need to put their dream into reality. So it's basically the practical steps and connecting them with the right people, the right organizations who we partner with. I certainly can't do it all. I certainly don't have all the answers. And I'm doing a lot of co-counseling. We bring in other partners who have certain expertise across the state. So it's not just me alone. If somebody needs, for instance, assistance with patents or copyrights or trademarks or exporting, those types of businesses, technical assistance for lab spinoffs. We have organizations that we bring in for that to co-counsel. Apex is one of them. So it's really about bringing them through the journey in whatever stage that they're in. And I think I would sum it up by saying that I demystify the processes, the procedures and the processes that are involved. And I do a lot of listening, take notes, and execute a plan, really, a step-by-step plan that the client can feel confident with. So instilling confidence. And most importantly, I want to say, I think the heart of it is establishing relationships and trust. I can't help anyone if I don't understand, if I don't listen, if I don't know their needs, what they're aspiring to. And I think it's kind of the same with the Business Coalition here. We need to establish relationships and trust and listen. So I think the work that I do mirrors this larger coalition. And I mean, to all the entrepreneurs and risk takers and trailblazers out there, I hear you. And I think the work that I do is twofold. I'm working to support the nuts and bolts on one hand of how to start a business or how to grow a business. And the second part of it is once the business launches, they're now in the business environment, and how can we help strengthen that business environment so that they're supported when they're launched and out there. So this includes, I think, a regulatory environment that makes sense and property owners who will work with them. I myself, I work with county counselors and the Business Coalition, the LACDC, property managers, regional groups, and also the media. We're fortunate we have the media here to help us all promote the word and achieve the results. So, so with that said, I will turn it over to the next organization.
Well, let me ask one quick question. You covered a lot of these questions, but one thing that I'd like to hear from you, what do you consider to be the most common challenges for a Los Alamos business? Quickly.
Yeah. Two challenges. One is navigating the regulatory environment. That's mostly a lot with what people come in for, asking for help and assistance with that and understanding it. And I think the other second challenge would be finding commercial space and having incentives for those commercial spaces and being able to update them and fit them so that there's a lot of money that has to go into these spaces that are available. So the expense that's involved there. So any kind of incentives that we can provide or that property managers can help them with, that would go a long way, I think.
Thank you. A future forum, by the way, is going to talk about some of the tools that are available to business owners to help them get through some of this stuff. Is one of you doing? There we go. Okay, so our next speaker is Lauren McDaniel. She's here to represent the Los Alamos Commerce and Development Corporation.
Okay, hi everyone. So I wanted to start off with the fact that I have a recent article that you might have seen published in the Los Alamos Daily Post, where I shared earlier this year more information about who we are, Los Alamos Commerce and Development Corporation. So if you'd like to take a look at that article and haven't, I did put some flyers over on this table, and it has a QR code to the full article. So I won't go into great detail about all of the programs that we manage. I'd like to focus on some of the particularly number 3 and number 4 during my 7 minutes that I have. But basically, LACDC, just in a nutshell, is a private, not-for-profit 501c6 organization. So we have an economic development mission. We want to create programs and essentially give back into the community. We have been around for over 40 years. Currently, we have a board of directors that is 13 individuals with a variety of experience across the financial industry, healthcare, small business, hospitality, technology, education, and more. We manage the Chamber of Commerce that is under the LACDC umbrella, Main Street and Creative District program. We manage and operate the 2 visitor centers in Los Alamos and White Rock. We also run the Small Business Center downtown in Central Park Square. That's where our office is located. So it's right behind the post office. We also own and operate the Los Alamos Research Park, which is an 83,000 square foot facility just outside of the laboratory. And we have office space in there, light lab space, We do have some private industry in there. We have the New Mexico Consortium. We have Hot Rocks Cafe. We also operate a co-working space as well to help smaller entrepreneurs who don't want to necessarily commit to an office space, and also remote workers who are in our community joining a partner, for instance, that works at the lab. In terms of, our main work and how we support the business community, it's through honestly all of those programs that I just mentioned. Main Street has an annual work plan and economic transformation strategy that they publish and work together with the small business community through the Main Street Futures Committee that meets monthly. We also bring in resources through the Main Street State Network through service requests. So we bring in revitalization specialists from the state level to help our community. And we have some great examples of what we've done over the years on that front. We do a lot of promotions for small businesses, from Small Business Saturday to special events, bringing really the community out to support small businesses. In the visitor center, we promote something called the weekly concierge calendar. So we are showcasing all of the events, all of the small business initiatives that are happening in our community, and we are pushing that out to all of the local concierge at hotels in the region, and others that are at the forefront, reaching out to visitors. We also, you might have recalled the Business Accelerator. We've been running that program since 2022 and have had several successful cohorts. In total, we've injected more than $80,000 into our community with grants that we have applied for on behalf of our organization and have passed that directly on to the benefit of small businesses. And we've had about 40 people who have gone through the program over the years. Wolf and Mermaid, Inspired Jewelers, Pie Pizzeria, who's located here now at Sala, Encanto Bistro, Samizdat, Weed, Little Studio on the Mesa. All of those businesses are businesses that we helped to essentially incubate and help them through the process of getting established here in Los Alamos. There's many more that we help that are still in various stages that we hope to bring into the community as well. We also run the farmers market. So again, those are smaller entrepreneurs that we really want to help encourage to have a permanent presence here in Los Alamos eventually. We also share grant opportunities and financing opportunities regularly with our small business community. The Regional Development Corporation is getting ready to launch their team fund coming up. We've had several successful business applicants who have received awards through the RDC over the years as well. I see overall LACDC as a major connector in the small business community. So people come to us, they come to our office asking for help, much like Janice said that they'll go directly to her for individual one-on-one assistance. We have people coming in from the business community all the time into our office as well, looking for resources and connections. We are in the midst of relaunching our facade loan program as well. So this is a program that LACDC has run for multiple years. We've had, half a dozen awards to local businesses. It's a 0% interest loan program. We provide the security, and through the course of the program, we've had about $85,000 worth of funds that have been distributed, and it's at no interest, 0% interest to the property owner. So we are relaunching that in Q1 of this year and expanding that program so even more funds will be available to our small business community. We also host job fairs through the Chamber of Commerce. Our next spring job fair is going to be actually downtown here at Fuller Lodge from 3 to 6 p.m. April 10th. We offer a community cash e-gift card program as well. So now this is the evolution of chamber checks. This is an opportunity for businesses to get involved. If you're in the Main Street District or a chamber member, you now have the ability to promote these e-gift cards, and the community will have dozens of places where they can spend the gift card and support local businesses. We're also considering a 401k offering for chamber member businesses, possibly later this year. So we're looking at those logistics. We do collaborate regularly with the county and the SBDC and various other stakeholders across the region. It's evolved over the years, but we have monthly meetings with county staff. We have a monthly regional economic development meeting that involves our local university, UNMLA, SBDC, the Regional Development Corporation, and we're talking about issues that affect not only Los Alamos, but honestly the region, because we do have a lot of shared topics and challenges that we need to solve as a region. We have monthly EVAT meetings that I partake in personally. It's the Economic Vitality Action Team. And so many different stakeholders gather for those monthly meetings, and the county at the county's request. And so we have strategic discussions at those meetings. We have the Main Street Futures meeting, which I mentioned earlier, that's headed by our Main Street program. We do a lot of surveys, in-person discussions through the chamber. We work closely with our regional representatives at the state level too, Peter Mitchell and Paige Ryan. And so resources that they bring to us, we then communicate out to the small business community. A lot of those are grant opportunities, low interest loan opportunities, and more. We're working, closely with the county to clarify permitting process, turnaround times. And Shanna will probably talk more about this, launching a development handbook soon. And the goal on our end is to increase, transparency about processes, make it easier to understand for businesses that start here in our community. And I think that's a common goal for all of us up here. And it's one of the reasons we started the Business Accelerator, honestly. We wanted to make sure that businesses felt supported when they start and grow in our community. And so we brought in experts and current small business owners to talk about those processes during the accelerator process. Moving forward, the accelerator, we're hoping to involve even more people. We're looking at we are working closely with the county through the county library, actually. And Janice is also involved with SBDC on launching a video hub coming up in 2025, where we are interviewing key players in the small business ecosystem on camera, talking about their role, kind of similar to what we're doing here right now, and making that available and accessible to everybody who's interested in starting and running a business here in our community. We also recorded all of the sessions from the Business Accelerator last year, and we're planning to make that available and accessible in this video hub as well. So that's something that we're launching in 2025. We attend a lot of events as well. We're engaged with, I just attended New Mexico IDEA in Santa Fe earlier this week. Jacqueline on our team is attending the National Main Street Conference coming up in Philadelphia in April. And we definitely engage with the county. I think one or two county councilors are going to be attending that event with us and bringing back ideas that we can implement in our community. And then Shanna and I are also going to be starting quarterly economic development updates to council, talking about our progress towards helping the small business community even more.
All right. So we have the need to cut you off, but thank you, Lauren. again, we will offer, you'll all have the opportunity to ask questions when we're done. Okay, so the last person on our panel is Shanna Sasser. Am I saying that correctly? She's from the Los Alamos County Community Development Department and the Economic Department, and you're kind of here to represent you and your boss, who is not yet employed, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Great. We'll take that. Well, I'd like to thank the Business Coalition for inviting us here tonight. And I'm so happy to see this climate of coordination and collaboration evolving with our community, because I think that's so important for us to recruit developers and bring them in. The coalition sent me a huge list of questions, and when I wrote them all down, I was like, this is 2 hours. So I'm going to try and get through the more important items, but I just want you to know I left my cards over there, and I am always available for cocktails or coffee if you want to get together and discuss any of this more, because I know this is a big, complicated thing, and there's lots of things to talk about. So please know that I'm always available for that. I wanted to take a moment and acknowledge some of the people that are here tonight. Counselor Righty is here tonight. Thank you for coming. Our new counselor, we're so happy to have you on board. Counselor Neil Clinton. Did I say that right? Okay. And then behind you, we've got Dan Osborne. Dan is our housing extraordinaire that has been able to start pushing our housing limits to new levels. So we're very excited about all the great things that are about to start happening in our housing world. Ann Laurent, our county manager, is here. Next to Ann is Robert. Robert had a very big week this week. He is our senior, Robert Franks is our senior building inspector. Did I get that right? Thanks. This week, our department was the first in the state to recertify with ASI. And you're like, what does that mean? So it's a certification program that acknowledges excellence in permitting and turnaround and customer service. And there's only 30 counties in the US that have this certification. So kudos to that department this week. They also have a 3-day turnaround for residential permitting and a 5-day turnaround for commercial permitting, which is some of the best rates in the state. And I'm going to talk a little more about permitting because there were some things that came up in this survey. Next to Robert, we have our 2 officials from the fire department, Joseph Romero and Colorado Cordova. They come and help us out with our permitting and inspections for small businesses. So I wanted you to see these faces because these are people that you can go to and ask questions. And don't be scared to ask them, because we had a workshop today about come and ask us before you sign a lease and you get yourself into financial trouble because you didn't know the building needed all new wiring, which we've seen. So these are some people, I just wanted to point them out so you know who they are. Okay, so updates on our department. So we have had a first round of interviews for our director position, and we had some amazingly strong candidates. We're bringing 3 of those candidates back on the 21st to have a second round. So we're going to be announcing that replacement very soon, and we're really excited because all 3 candidates are top notch. So that's really exciting for Dan and I, who have been interim, because we're ready to push some of this off of our plate. So we're real excited about that. Our other exciting news is that as of today, and I was pushing everything to get done with HR so I could announce it tonight, I've rehired for the business manager position. That is going to be Anita Barella, who works in the planning department. She used to run a business in Los Alamos. She has years of planning and development experience. And so we're really excited for her to come on board and help us with some of our new initiatives. I was actually really glad that I postponed the hiring for a while because I wanted to revamp that program so it would be robust and help us meet the needs of small businesses. The bottom line I hear every day is we need incentives. We need incentives. We need grants. We need money. So this position is going to really go and do a lot of research and help us start connecting our small businesses to grant funding sources, because we hear this every day from our business community here. So we're really excited about that. Okay, I'm going to move on to the survey results. So the question was, how is the survey supporting the results of the survey from what we learned? So the survey results, along with the survey that our department did, it revealed a lot of things to us that's helping us work on internal processes and external process. So we're working to update our website. We're working to streamline processes. We're working to see where the hurdles are that these small businesses are coming against and how we can work through them. One of the things that was mentioned was permitting and the county's permitting process. And that's the biggest issue. So we did a deeper dive into this, and this is what we found. So it wasn't so much the turnaround time of the permitting, it was what was happening when the businesses were signing leases for a property and then coming into the office for the pre-application meetings. The pre-application meetings are when we bring a team together and we go through which property are you looking at, and we get the address, and the building code inspectors look at the address and they say, okay, this was a salon. Now you want to turn it into a restaurant. So there are things that you're going to have to do to bring this up to the change of space and the change of use. So these small business owners were getting blindsided by these additional costs. Whereas if they had come in before they signed the lease, we could have at least told them what they were up against financially. So we've been working really closely with our partners at Main Street, LACDC, the Small Business Center, to encourage small business owners to come and meet with us first so we can help them avoid some of these financial hurdles that they keep encountering. Some of these meetings are just, it's amazing. They'll find out they need an ADA compliant restroom. We had a person that had, the property owner was pressuring them to sign a lease, and they decided to come and meet with us before signing the lease. And when they came in, the fire department was like, that building needs all new electrical work. And the property owner had not disclosed any of that. And if you're a small business owner trying to get started, you don't have a lot of money to put forth. So earlier today, we did a workshop on this, had great attendance. We had both small business and property owners come. We recorded it, and it'll be posted in a few days on our website. So if any of you weren't able to attend and you want to watch it, please do. We're going to try and do more workshops like that to try and support the small business community. The other thing that we learned from the survey is that we really need to do a better job in educating the public on some things. In the survey, we kept hearing how businesses wanted money from the county and they wanted the county to pay for things. And a lot of people in our community come from other states that are frankly more small business friendly. Arizona, very friendly small business state, Colorado. But in New Mexico, we have something called the anti-donation clause, and it is in our Constitution. And what that says is that a local government cannot give money to a business or a nonprofit. So we are excited because in this legislation, currently, there's some proposed legislation going through to add a constitutional change so that that could be changed and maybe to open the gates for adding funding to different sources that we haven't been able to do before. I wanted to tell you what that was. That is House Judiciary 11, if you want to watch that legislation and see how it progresses. And it's a constitutional change to the anti-donation clause. Now, even if this makes it through session, it will still have to go to the vote of the people. So even if we get through session and it passes, we're still going to have a vote on that. But that's exciting for us who work with small businesses that would like to see the door open a little wider. I also, in the survey, we heard a lot about rent control and like wanting the county to implement rent control. And again, we go back to our New Mexico Constitution, and there is the New Mexico Rent Control Pre-Exemption Act of 1991, which prohibits cities and counties from enacting rent control law. So again, that limits what the county can actually do. And that's why the county has these amazing partnerships with LACDC and Main Street, because we rely heavily on them to provide services to our small business community. So just to help you understand why the county cannot do things, I think is really important, because we want to do things to collaborate and help, but there are some constitutional laws that are impeding the county from doing things. And that's particular to New Mexico.
So we need to wrap up Shanna's little talk, but I wanted to add that a future forum is going to look more deeply into that anti-donation clause and some of these other perhaps state restrictions that are affecting our local businesses.
Okay. I want to add one last thing, just because this is on everybody's mind right now. So wildfire, we're all concerned about losing our insurance, and our local fire department has a free program for businesses and residents to come get a fire resistance hardening program. So they'll come and assess your property, and they'll give you a list of recommendations. And if you do those recommendations, you can present that to your insurance company. Now, right now, the insurance company is not by law required to acknowledge it, but at this point, as dry as a winter as we have had, I'm going to encourage everybody here to utilize that free service, get that done, and have that to present to your insurance company as this crisis continues to grow in our community.
Thank you, ladies. Let's all give our thanks to the speakers. Okay, so before I say anything else, Shanna actually took care of this for us, but we also wanted to thank our county counselors and Laurent for being here tonight. And we've been told that the coalition will have a county council liaison. So that'll be really good, again, in order to collaborate. Is anybody else going to talk about our path forward? Kevin, Alan, I don't know. Okay, so I will just say our path forward, just a moment, Ann. Our path forward includes 4 more forums in a variety of things. There they are, and the dates of them, those are tentative dates. So please make sure that these are on your calendar. And by the end of this, we really hope that our small businesses will have a lot of great information. Ann, did you want to say something? Anna, yes.
Victor wants to start.
So where's Victor?
Hi, everyone. Nice to see all of you here. It's nice to get all together once in a while and know each other and know about, or I'm speaking to, okay. like I say, it's nice. Hi, everyone, again. Nice to see all of you here. Thank you for coming. And I'm in here for 10 years dealing and working and having this beautiful time here in Los Alamos. I love this town, this county, and so far at the end, everything has been so good to me. Maybe some of you know me. I own Señor Tortas. In the beginning, I came and started working at the growers market and the concert night series, and I was for a little while at the American Legion, and once in the beginning when I got some little interaction with the county personally when I start to when the pandemic coming here, all of us, I don't know what to do because I used to do markets around the state along with state fair, and I don't know what to do. So my family and we decided to get a food truck, and then I parked the truck at the police station. I thought I can speak with the police station with the policeman, and they said, "Yeah, sure, stop here and we can buy food from you." So once I tried to set up my truck at Shannon Properties next to Boomerang, and I have all the paper documentation, insurance, this and that, the county business registration and all of that, but similarly, the county at some point I figured out they got the no stuck in their head, but I feel proud of myself that at the end they say yes to my request. They first of all they say no, and so I park at the police station, and once I was having a good business there, and I have a call. I thought somebody wants some food, but it was the county lady talking to me. Said, "Are you parking at the police station?" I said, "Yes." "Well, you shouldn't." Well, I say, "Okay," but I want to make everything correct and legal. So I say, "I want to park at Shannon Properties." I say, "You can't unless you have a letter from the owner." And I say, "I got it." "Well, you also need a paperwork certificate from the Marshall Fire Department." And I say, "I got it." I say, "Okay, why don't you come tomorrow and show what do you have?" So here I go tomorrow, next day, and I present to them. It seemed like they were waiting for me, few of them. And then I give the paperwork I have, and they went to the back, and I hear they say, "I told you, he got everything." So they came back and say, "You can park at Shannon Properties." So I feel proud of myself. I'm feeling like I'm the one to start the business with the trucks and food trailers around here, and it's nice to see that people having their dreams, make their dreams come true. It's nice, and I'm part of this community, and I wish you everyone the best. And if I can help someone with something, here I am to help, and I like all of you. I love you. Thank you.
Thank you, Victor. So we're still going to try to get Ken's video working. So Alan went to go try to do that. The other couple things I wanted to mention is that we now have a website, coalition.losalamos.com. So go check that out. And it's growing and it's getting more and more stuff. So you can get information about all of the forums that are coming up and all of that stuff. So let me open it up to questions, but we are going to be using the microphones. So if you have a question for any of the ladies or any of the coalition steering committee, raise your hand and I'll come running to you. Come on, don't be shy.
Because I happen to have a mic in my hand, I'll go ahead and everybody else can think about your questions, okay? I'm Anna Delane. I own Boomerang. I'm also part of the steering committee. Thank the counselors for being here very much. Thank the ladies up front for being here. I wonder if we can put the questions that we had originally asked them back up, because I feel like there were some questions that definitely could have used a little bit more sussing out. I think Alan has wandered off. Kevin, do you think you're able to do it?
He'll go try to do that.
Thank you. I had at least one that maybe I wrote down enough of. I was trying to take notes, but everything was fast. All right, I'm going to have to just rely on my memory and start with you, Shanna, if you don't mind. It's very nice to meet you. Thank you so much for being here. I learned a word this week, or a term that I would love to ask you about. I think that the problems that I've noticed that exist with the permitting processes in terms of businesses can be summed up in the new words I learned, which is transfer of liability. And I learned this from a county councilor at a meeting, and he used these words, and it was magic to describe the thing that I've noticed over and over, which is I come to you and I want to do something, and the restrictions about how that needs to get done become really specific, achingly specific. Like, oh, well, you need a licensed contractor to do it. You need an engineer. You need an architect to draw your building. And he described all of that as this transfer of liability mentality that he has seen and it needs to change. And I'm wondering, what are you and your department doing to address that transfer of liability mentality and how it affects local businesses?
Thanks so much for your question. And I have to say, I love your little store. Can I ask Robert to answer this one? I'm going to put him on the spot.
Hi. How's it going? Already. So, about releasing that responsibility. Okay, it is on. So hopefully that's not viewed as us trying to release responsibility. Where that actually comes from is the book for code officials issued by the state that says if you want to change a commercial property, as we talked about earlier today, a design professional is required, and a GB 98 contractor, a commercial license contractor, is required. Those are state, not specific to this state, but they are in our code book, our book for code officials. That's where those things come into play. So we're code officials, and we do not write the code, but we enforce the code, building codes.
Anna, what he's saying is we don't have that variability. Like some states have their code system set up differently than we do. So we have to honor the codes that are set forth. So we as a county don't have the variability to change the rules, basically, is a lay way of explaining what Robert just said. And that's very frustrating because people go, well, this so-and-so did it and that so-and-so did it, but we're required to enforce state code. And it would take a legislative act to create some variability in those processes. So that's why we're trying to do these pre-application meetings. We're trying to do outreach to these small businesses so they have clear understanding and expectations of what they're up against before they sign a lease and they go down these paths. Because that's really what we can do in that situation. Ann?
So like in Colorado, each municipality licenses their own contractors, and they're able to kind of do their own thing. My license and the license of all the contractors that have them come from the state. So we have to abide by state regulations on that. So where I'm from in Colorado, they're able to kind of change things, and we're bound by our state licensing.
And I actually couldn't give up an opportunity to put my architect. I'm a licensed architect, and then I came from private sector before I worked for the government. But as a licensed architect, I'm a design professional, just like an engineer might be. And what we're doing by looking at commercial properties is we are certifying that for that use, it meets all the building codes that Robert's talking about, plus things like the ADA, American for Disabilities Act, and things that for the, we'll bring in a fire protection specialist sometimes if the fire system has to be adjusted. Those are all fire life safety issues that as a design professional, I put my license seal on there. I have liability insurance, and I am telling the county, if I were to be submitting my seal, that I have done the evaluation, and I am certifying that the drawings I am putting forward for permitting meet the code. And if there's issues, that's why I hold insurance. And I'll bring up, there are stories where bad things happen, where buildings collapse, decks collapse when too many people get on them. fire situations, people get trapped and can't get out. Those are all the things that are behind writing those codes. And that does become difficult sometimes when you have older facilities, because renovating them can be pricey because they're not really set up well sometimes to be renovated.
Okay, any other questions? Please raise your hand.
So, quick question. You mentioned that you're working towards informing small businesses of the pre-meetings. How are you doing that? Email, media, website?
So multiple aspects of that. So we work very closely with our partners. And so and we're very good about, oh, we saw a new food truck, or so-and-so wants to start a business. So we're working on that level because that's very personable. We have people blindly calling or coming into the office, and and everybody in our office, in the whole office, planning, everybody knows about these pre-application meetings. So and then with our business manager doing outreach one-on-one, when they meet with them, they will suggest, before you do anything, don't sign a lease. Let's go meet with the county and look at the prospective locations. And then the building code department can help them make a good financial decision on which space to go into based on the history of the use of the space, what the space may need. So we're doing different rooms. We also have a marketing person that is working on some small business outreach type marketing. So we're doing these workshops to try, and for the workshop today, we did outreach to all our business community partnerships. We called all the property managers that we could know of in town, that everybody knew of, and we called all the property managers because we felt like they were a really valuable piece of helping small business owners to understand what they're going into as far as space usage.
Thank you.
Okay.
I have one that for all or each of you. What do you know about how we measure or understand the economic benefits that come from tourism and visitation in the community? What do we measure to understand that and understand whether the things that we do help improve that economic benefit?
So currently we have a Datafy software system that Kevin's familiar with, and that provides us with a lot of good information on far as the tourists coming into town. Now, there's definitely some needs for additional data that I'm currently looking to some of our state EDD partners and EDA partners to see if we can get access to some gap market analysis. Because I have my doctorate, so I'm all about data and infer data decision making. So any of that stuff that we can get can help us make decisions. But thank you for bringing up tourism, because that was on my list, but I didn't get to it. We're doing so much work in tourism because we really feel like for economic development and for growth of the revenue of our small businesses, that's our low-hanging fruit. So one of the things that we've done this past year is we're like, hey, what are some of these events that are happening and how can we let the business community know? So we did a great partnership recently with the hockey tournament. We had 288 people come, and LACDC put together some great bags with information about the restaurants and when they're going to be open. And we did outreach to the small businesses to try and encourage them to be open for the weekend. And we're like, we can do this. This is tangible and it will help grow our small business revenue baseline. So I've formed a little tourist working group with all the different tourist entities in town. And we've been meeting and talking about how we can economic garden these events. The golf course is going to have 30 tournaments this summer. And I'm like, okay, we can do this. some of my coworkers and I went to the aging conference in Albuquerque, and we discovered all these senior centers that wanted to plan weekends in Los Alamos doing fun things. And we're like, okay, here's a market that we can get into. And then we realized there's a lot of families that come up from Los Alamos and a lot of families that don't know about what is available here for family-friendly activities. So we've been really looking at niche markets to see what we can tap into and what we can easily grow. We're not talking about getting people from Japan and Paris. Our #1 day visitor right now to Los Alamos is 44 to 64 from Albuquerque. Y'all, there's a lot of people in Albuquerque that aren't coming up here. So we're looking to strategically find these niche markets, create marketing plans, and see how drive more tourists to Los Alamos for weekends or some of our events that we have. So there's a lot of really fun, exciting things. And it's great working with our tourist group. We've consolidated the event calendar. So we have all the entities working together to communicate when they're having events. So then we can roll it out to the small business community. So lots of exciting stuff happening with tourism.
I'll just add to, because you asked about metrics. We also, and economic benefits. So our Discover Los Alamos director, who manages the 2 visitor centers, she collects data from all of the local major attractions and reports out visitation metrics to the Lodgers Tax Advisory Board on a monthly basis. We also have kiosks provided by the county in both of our visitor centers where visitors are inputting data for survey that we generate. And so we look at that data on a monthly basis as well, and how we can improve our services at the visitor center. Where are they going? How did they hear about Los Alamos? Why are they visiting? Are they extending their trip here and making it a weekend trip? Or are they visiting Bandelier and going back to Santa Fe? And so we're looking at all of that data and making informed decisions about what needs to happen from a transportation perspective. What are the next steps of how we better engage our business community when it comes to tourism as well. As Shanna said, I think the more that we can inform the business community that these big tour groups are coming here, the better for our community and our small businesses, right? So as she had mentioned, we had a coordinated effort with the recent hockey tournaments. Our team put together a list of Saturday and Sunday dining options in Los Alamos. We promote all of the food and beverage places that we can promote to visitors as well. We have 45 places currently listed on here. We have around 30 brick and mortar retail shops that we promote to our visitors. And it's beneficial for LACDC to have all of our programs under one umbrella, from the Main Street to the Chamber to the visitor centers, because we are all coordinated. We know what's happening with the business community, and we reiterate that to the frontline staff with the visitor centers. Just for Monday, our visitor center staff put together all of the local restaurants that are open on the holiday. And so we're promoting that. We have that available to visitors and to residents.
Okay, any other questions? Anna has another one. Do you have a question?
Yeah, just a quick question, again, along the line of data. This very impressive set of resources up here to help businesses. I applaud you all for what you're doing. I'm curious, your sense though of, economic development is kind of like a big giant funnel. You've got entrepreneurs with hopes and dreams coming in the top, and then you get a few businesses coming out the bottom that actually make it through. From your perspective, what are you seeing in terms of those numbers? Are there lots of people coming at the top of the funnel and just not making it out of the bottom? Or are we not getting enough people even entering to try to get the process started? I don't have a good feel for the numbers that y'all are encountering in your institutions.
Well, I'll say I'll go back to our business accelerator program. We again had about 40 people, 40 entrepreneurs go through that program. The goal with that program was really to pull people out of the woodwork, primarily those who live here, who have a stake in our community, and help them through that process. There's a lot of businesses that haven't opened up storefronts here, or that are running home-based businesses and eventually want to get to a storefront. I think one of the challenges, I didn't get to talk really about a lot of the challenges during my time earlier, but is availability of space. We do have some vacancies, and they're prominent vacancies in the community, but they're primed for redevelopment. So when those spaces are open, and we are communicating to the property developers on the types of spaces that we're hearing are in demand for small businesses, but when those spaces are open, we want to have that funnel available and prep the business owners so they're ready to move into those spaces. And right now, there's a challenge with the infrastructure, the availability, the size of spaces that our entrepreneurs are needing. We ran the most recent accelerator was focused on food and beverage, and we don't have a lot of commercial kitchens here in our community. And so we're seeing an uptick. I know of 3 or 4 new businesses that are starting food trucks because they're having to create their own kitchen, essentially. So we will see more food trucks in our community this year. But we need to focus on creating those spaces that these entrepreneurs want to move into and can move into, that are move-in ready and affordable.
And just to give you some numbers, so this past year we saw 124 new businesses, and as of 125, we have currently 159 business license renewals. So, and Lauren brings up a great point. You know, this commercial kitchen thing is such a big ask. We hear it all the time. And Lauren, Jacqueline, and I have met with the county extension office, and we've looked at, there's a commercial kitchen that the county of Taos built. And we're looking at different models to say, you know, because if we could have a commercial kitchen, that could be something that could help these young start pop-up kind of businesses, you know, get their legs underneath them. And then that brings us back to space. Like, we definitely need quality spaces for small businesses to go into, and we just don't have that yet. So we're kind of waiting for these developers to get these projects going so we can have new spaces that are up to code and clean and nice, to go back to the old economic theory of supply and demand. You know, right now there's a monopoly of property spaces, and there's no reason to compete, so they're not getting fixed up and becoming state of the art. And so we have so many things that we're struggling with. You know, that's what we're trying to look at. What can we do? Can we do a commercial kitchen? Can we, you know, grow tourism? Because we're really struggling on so many fronts for our small businesses.
You answered my question, Lauren. It was actually on the thing. Thank you so much.
So is there another question? Let me get, no, it's, but for the recording you do.
Okay. All right. I don't want to harsh your buzz here, or whatever phrase works. You want state of the art. Do you know what that actually costs? What do you consider a reasonable rent for this town? Say White Rock per square foot.
Well, you know, it's market demand, and we're never going to put caps on. It's market demand, and we're never going to put caps on rent. But no, I know what you're saying.
In your opinion, what is a startup small business willing to pay? The thing is, what Los Alamos needs is more slums. We need more. I know it sounds weird. We need low cost real estate that startup businesses can go into that may not be the most desirable, so they can get a foothold, they can get the revenue, and maybe move up to a better space. If all you have is premium space, which costs, I don't know, he probably knows, but my guess is $400 a square foot to build. Now I've got to extract enough rent out of that to justify building that. It's not going to happen. And that's why you don't have these premium spaces. I'm in the process of renovating a building right now, and it's absolutely insane what it costs to get stuff done.
And when's your building going to be online? Because we need to know.
Find me an HVAC guy that doesn't charge $1,200 an hour, and I'm not kidding. My first two quotes were $1,250 and $1,000 an hour. And I wonder why I got a PhD.
I was part of the discussions with around Trinity, 20th and Trinity, when we were talking about what's needed on that parcel. And we were very upfront that we need smaller spaces and spaces where businesses can grow. They often are looking at 1,000 square feet when they first open, right? And then we need an availability, a plethora of different variety of spaces. And that's a challenge here too, honestly.
Thank you for these questions. I think we're getting to some real core issues here. And just from my short time that I've been with the SBDC, I would say that there's no shortage of people coming in wanting to start a business, wanting to they make their dream a reality. So I think that's alive and well. Where the problems become is like the commercial kitchen, but people are innovative. They're saying, okay, we can do a food truck. Oh, okay, maybe we can do a food truck in a church parking lot. So they're forming these partnerships that I'm seeing that are kind of unique. Some businesses are partnering up with other already existing businesses. So like Beat House and Creative Masterpieces just did that. So even though there's a shortage of space, I think people are finding ways to still launch their business. There's also a lot of in-home businesses that I've also gotten through the door. But I would say that one of the issues though is with, say, the food trucks is really for the business navigating what that process is to start a food truck and what are the procedures in place. So the more that we can put that information out there in a real clear and communicative way, I think that'll go a long way for people to be able to say, oh, here's how you do it. This is what I can expect. It would even make it easier for me. But having these processes in place of how they can do that or how they can do that on county land, I know it's been talked about. So I think getting to the heart is sometimes just this, how do you go about making it happen? Where the other part too would be like, where are the commercial spaces? I got that question today too. Somebody's looking to grow and they need a larger space and they're asking, where is the commercial space that fits these parameters? Well, if we have it listed in a clear way of where they can go and find these spaces, it would just open up the possibilities and know that there is room for them and room to grow.
And to that point, Main Street is working on a commercial real estate inventory, which would be really helpful. And I showed up here in July and Janice and I had this conversation. It's like, where do you even go to find this information? So it's really hard for us trying to advocate for small business and find space. And what happens is Lauren will email me and say, hey, do you know of 800 square feet somewhere? And I'm like, let me look around. Let me ask. So we really do need an inventory so we know where the spaces are available, and we need to get that accomplished because I think that'll really help us help the small business world.
And LACDC is in regular communication with a lot of our local property owners, and we've asked them, keep us updated. If you have space available, we want to help you fill that space. And so I do work closely with the county and with the SBDC, and we try our best to make those connections for the small business owners based on the square footage that they want and the layout that they want, where they want to be located. And it's challenging right now because there's not a whole lot of space available.
So we need to wrap up our time, but I do have a comment. I'm not a business owner, but I've been working with these people for a while, and some of the things you said tonight made me think about this. I believe that Los Alamos has some issues. We have transparency issues. We have consistency issues. One business goes right through and another business just fights and fights and fights. So I hear about that from all my friends and neighbors. But a couple of you talked about the state requirements and how it's so much harder in this state than it is in, for instance, Arizona and Colorado. My comment is that I hope communities in New Mexico are fighting back. Why is it so much harder to run a business in New Mexico than it is in Arizona or Colorado? So I'm hoping that you guys have that on your radar as well.
And if we can identify clearly what those whys are, why is it so difficult? I know we have really supportive legislators, and Senator Jaramillo and would champion these causes and go to bat for us, I think. So I think we need to learn what those are, how it compares to other communities, and even maybe other towns and cities within New Mexico.
It would have to be kind of across the state. Okay, so I'm not in charge anymore.